There's a person in my life who I really want to have a good relationship with for reasons that are totally understandable if you knew about the context of our relationship. Let's call this person Paul. And Paul and I have known each other for a very long time, and I would consider us friends. Not great friends, but when we are together, we are friends. More than friendly, friends. At some point in my life, when I started doing this whole communication skills thing and realizing the relationships in your life are super important, I wanted to reinforce the relationship I had with Paul by staying in contact with him because we don't live near each other. So I text him every once in a while, call him every once in a while. Maybe he'd pick up. No, I can't even. Maybe once, very low percent of the time. But we always had a good thing whenever we'd see each other. We would be in great friendship mode. And I have developed this ability to call people and leave voicemails and not really be worried about if they call back or not, because I can only do so much I do my part. If I do my part and the other person doesn't really respond to it, that's fine. I've had too many interactions with people where they have said, thank you for consistently reaching out to me. I was going through something. It wasn't the right time, but knowing that you are a friend has been so helpful to know in the back of my mind, even though I wasn't calling you back, even though I wasn't doing the thing. And when they come out of the funk that they're in, they know I'm there for them, which makes people feel less alone, which makes people feel so much better. Anyways, something happened that I, not so privately, posted about how I wanted to have a better relationship with somebody. And the way I posted it was more than passive aggressive. It was something only Paul would have understood, because that's the way the thing works. But Paul saw it, and even though no one else would have understood it, he was upset that I said what I said in such a large audience, to such a large people. And so he sends me a text. Now, he hasn't responded to my calls in a long time, and I text him every once in a while, and we were going to have a phone call to catch up at some point, but maybe things got in the way. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he didn't want to talk. Didn't happen. So I said something like, now the ball's in your court, I guess. You owe me a call. Because we scheduled it. And he really didn't like being told that first of all, he didn't like getting called out in front of 100,000 people. Not that anyone would understand me being defensive. And also, he said he doesn't owe me. He's his own guy. He does not owe me. What's the deal with me trying to call him every maybe month and a half, or send him a text every once in a while? I'm being very pushy, and he doesn't look forward to our phone calls. He thinks it's like calling the foot doctor or something, he says in a text that he is not happy. And what's the deal with me trying to be friends with him? What's wrong with me? And this makes me feel sad. First of all, it makes me feel sad that he feels upset. I understand why he feels upset, but I don't like that at all. Then I feel sad, and I get to understand, look, not everyone wants to be your friend. Some people like being called and reminded that you're there and being interested in them. And some people, it is a different interpretation. He thought that my phone calls were bothersome. They were stressful. They were anxiety inducing. And it is a humbling and impossible experience to know that different people have different reactions. And if they're not going to tell you about how they're feeling, then it's very hard for you to know, especially over the digital world. So, and so even though it was really not a positive conversation, and I certainly was a major reason for that, the positive thing, the takeaway is I understand how he feels, and I wouldn't have if I wasn't able to break the veil between us by messing something up. And I wasn't afraid to mess something up. And now I have a lot more clarity on what our relationship is like. And I get to think about the kind of relationships I want to have and mourn how this is not going to be the relationship in the way I want it to be. And that's just okay. There are other people in the world who I can have relationships with, and there's other Pauls, and I will see Paul. And this will be water under the bridge, and I'm sure I will see him many times. For me, I'm realizing I only got so much time. I only got so many people I can call, so many people I can have in my life. And it makes me really sad to think of Paul as someone that I guess will always be that level. Or at least for the next, until I feel like it, I don't need to try as much. And that, even though it's sad, is freeing for me.